I want to take a moment in this tutorial to point out the difference between formulas and definitions because I just posted a tutorial that gives you the formulas required for our course, but a formula does not include all of our definitions. For example, a formula would be something that has letters and there's an equation. For example, the distance equals the velocity times the time. And those formulas are given in a review tutorial called Formulas for the Final Exam. But what about definitions that involve mathematics? Now, I want to give two examples here and why these would not be included with the formulas. These are definitions involving logarithms and one involving decimals. For example, the logarithm of a number, say 100, relative to a base, and we'll say base 10, means how many times do you use 10 when multiplying so that you get 100? And the answer is 2 times, because 10 times 10 is 100. So you can look at another question here. How many times do you need to use 4 to get to 64? That would be the logarithm of 64, base 4. The answer is 1, 2, 3 steps. Every time you make a step, you multiply. We start on 1 and we have a destination. I have used an analogy in class where this is a shoe size 4. That's your base. And how many steps do you need to take? 1, 2, 3. And that gives you your logarithm of 64, base 4. The answer is 3 steps. This is an interesting scale where every time you make a step, you multiply. Whether that be a small step, like the baby step, doubling, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, or what we call the mama step, where we multiply by 10, 10 times 10, and 10 times, every time you multiply by 10, you just get this big step, 1 times 10, 10 times 10, the next one would be 1,000. So these are mathematical definitions. The best way to study for the final exam is to master your power notes. That's where everything is. And these reviews, although it can be very helpful how we review things for you, they can be misleading if you think any one review is going to have everything in the whole course. That would be impossible. So here, what I'd like you to do is focus your attention on a couple more definitions. The definition where when you do a tenfold increase on the number of things making noise or a sound, you add 10 decibels to the decibel scale. So if you start with 40 decibels, and then that represents one device, and if you have then 10 devices, you would then have 50 decibels. If you do a twofold increase, that means doubling the number of sources. So if you have one source at 40 decibels, if you double to get 2 sources, then you add 3, and the answer is 43 decibels. So once again, study your power notes. Everything is pretty much there in those notes. Composers, formulas, the quantitative, the physics, it's all there. And then use the reviews to help you coordinate things and pull things together.